Charles, and we're back, this time with Temur Cascade. I was playing in leagues with Turbo Gobbo, and I was facing almost exclusively UX tempo decks, and I realized that's a matchup just gonna have to hope to dodge. 6 Hydro in the sideboard means you can win game 1, but winning games 2 and 3 is such an uphill battle when like not only do you have to have a hand that can kill them, or get them like very low, like 15 plus damage, you also need to play around 1 or even 2 Hydros, or a Hydro and a Snuff Out, or a Hydro and a Bolt, and getting those hands was just very difficult to get consistently, so I went like 1 and 4 3 times in a row, because metas, at least in my time zone, is almost explicitly UX tempo, so I'm going to have to put a pin in the Turbo Gobbo until the meta changes a bit. But the good news is that I haven't really been seeing burn at all anymore. I think the UX tempo decks have just been hating it out. So I'm going to play Temur Cascade because that has a really decent UX tempo matchup. And you know what they say, when one door closes, a window opens. Or if that is in fact the expression, I'm not sure. But yeah, so we're playing Temur Cascade today. Just came off of a 4-1 league with it. All 5 matchups were UX tempo. Yeah, it's crazy. That's just the meta I'm in. It doesn't seem to matter when I play. It's just like UX tempo all the time. If that's the case, then, you know, I'm going to play the deck that has a decent matchup against it. And I actually really enjoy playing. So it's kind of so at the end of the day, it's kind of a good thing. So, yeah. Oh, this Relic of Progenitus shouldn't be here. It should be Fairy Macabre, because I don't actually bring in Relic in the matchup, so Relic would be better than Fairy Macabre. So, where are you, Fairy Macabre? There you are. Macabre, sorry. I was mispronouncing that. And then we go to another... the list is the same as the previous list I was running. That's because I tried it with... Come on. Beanstalk Worm. But unfortunately, it was just not that powerful. I was hoping it'd help with the consistency a bit, but you really need the card draw from Explore and Growth Spile, because like you need to draw into more lands to cast, right? So this not drawing a card and or slash costing 2 and not 1 made it just not better than the cards I was taking out for it, like a main deck Weather and a 1 Muldrifter, or like an Annoyed Altasaur and a Muldrifter or something. I think that's what I was doing, and it was working much worse after I did that. You just like need the pressure. I was also considering running a Mirror Shell Crab in here instead of a single Muldrifter, because that'd be pretty cool. But after finishing this league, I've just realized against those, like, you're not... decks, the value has gone crazy. You need 4 Muldrifter against certain decks, even though I would like to have 2 Weather the Storm in the main, because your burn matchup's not that great. I figure, hey, whatever, just hone your deck for, like, you know, whatever the meta is right now, and I'm going to keep the 4 Muldrifter in the main. Alright, and I will see you for... Oh, I guess I'll explain the deck a bit for those of you who haven't seen this deck in action before. So basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to play these Explore effects, like playing an additional land, or Arboreal Grazer, Explore, and Growth Spiral, and then you're trying to ramp out by playing, you know, lands. The issue with that is that you need to have a lot of lands in your hand for this to work. So how you solve that is you play these chambers, or is it Growth Chamber, Gruul Tooth, is it Boilworks, Akru lands, because these are 2 lands. So even having an Explorer and drawing a Gruul Turf means that you, even if you had like no lands in hand, means you get to make 2 land drops that turn with the Explorer. So you're kind of like combining these Karoo lands with these accelerants. You're also combining it with Snap, the Karoo lands, because Snap plus 2 means that you can generate 2 mana. And so because you can sneak out a Gruul Turf on turn 2, and a Simic, on turn 1, or like a Crew Land on turn 1, and a second Crew Land turn 2, it means you can have 6 mana available on turn 3. I think I've even had 7 mana available on turn 3 before. Maybe even more. I'm trying to remember here. I think it would have been 2, 4. Double snap. Yeah, double snap gave me the 8 once. So I actually managed to go Brainstorm, Annoyed Altasaur, Boarding Party, Avenging Hunter on turn 3, which was pretty sweet. Oh yes, and that's the other combo that you're trying to do with this deck. So Snap can add 2 mana with 2 crew lands, 1 this with 1. You need a target for it though. It's also pretty good in the meta right now, like against all that glitters and other things. And the other thing that you're trying to do is you're going Brainstorm, and you're putting these, and you're trying to set up these cascades with one of these 8 5-drops that you have here typically, or just shuffle, or just like getting rid of cards that you don't want with the Ash Barrens, or even the Crystal Grotto, or the shuffle effect off Avenging Hunter, or the Cascade effects here. And yeah, that's what you're pretty much trying to do. The other part of this deck is that it actually has like 28 cards that replace themselves or like draw. I'm including Avenging Hunter in this, so that's like 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. So that kind of gives you like storm velocity, not velocity, but like storm amounts of card draw, because you usually want to run about 28 card draw spells in a deck that is attempting to storm off. You don't always have the mana for it, but you can always combine cascade effects and snaps and other things to make Weather the Storm pretty nice. And that's really your only hope of beating Burn, at least game 1. Well, even more so game 2, because I have 2 in the sideboard here. And you kind of have to change how you board against it. But Burn is not a good matchup. One of the reasons why I'm playing this deck now is because it looks like UX is just, the deck of the day. So I ran, and I played it 5 times in a row, so I was right. All right, on to the matches. Okay, and we're here for game 1 of the first match against Ecstasy. Let's see how we did. Yeah, I keep this hand, strangely enough. I don't see a turn. Oh, because of the snap. I'm hoping to hit like 1 Accelerant or something here. Or get lucky as well by cycling for a forest. Hopefully I draw one of my 12 ramp spells. And I do, so I get lucky there. Nice. And Gruul Turf. Our opponent goes Ponder. What I like about this is it lets me set up this second copy of Is It Boilerworks on turn 3. So now I can really do stuff with Snap. And they go Brainstorm. And what are they? It's probably a Brainstorm Shuffle. They have a counterspell up. Do I play into it? I decide not to. Also, if it resolves, like what if they just go okay and play like a Spell Stutter Sprite? So I'm not doing that. They go Augur Bolas. And they pass the turn. Let's see if I try and snap that back. I do. They allow it to happen. So that lets me go Annoyed Altasaur into Brainstorm. Hopefully this Brainstorm resolves. It does. So that lets me set up my Annoyed Altasaur for next turn. And that's a lot of snaps, so that's pretty nice. I snap back the Bolas there because I'm just trying to keep the board clear for the initiative, and also slow them down a cost too. I'd love if they cast it again. And there's a Tolarian Terror. Alright. So I'll snap back the Terror. I won't get the Accelerant here. It'll just leave me mana neutral. And they go Spell Pierce, which I will pay for. I can still cast my Avenging Hunter though. So that's what I do. And I have the initiative. And I grab an island. They go Tolarian Terror, Tolarian Terror, Tolarian Terror, and Tolarian Terror. So that's a pretty good hand. That's 4 terrors on the battlefield there. Let's see if I can what I can do, because I have a pretty decent hand as well. That's a 7/6. I decide to snap back a terror, slow him down slightly, and go Annoyed Altasaur, casting Explorer. I was hoping to get a little lucky there with my Annoyed Altasaur, and I decide not to swing because that's 15 damage coming through, so I need to do something here. And hopefully they can't remove my Avenging Hunter because it has 6 power. Sorry, 6 toughness. And there's their 4th terror again. They swing in, and I block and block. They take the initiative. Now they have 2 emblems. Now, them swinging like that into my 7/6, I think gave me a nice shot here, because it allowed me to get rid of 2 of their terrors. Alright, I can brainstorm, and I hit another Cascader. That was pretty huge. So I put the mountain on top and an Avenging Hunter on top, and I go Annoyed Altasaur getting rid of the mountain and playing the Avenging Hunter going further into the initiative. And I swing with a 7/6. I swung in there because I wanted to start pressuring them. And they swing in. Oh, they don't swing in. Well, that's weird. May have been better to hold back there, but I don't want to give them too much time. They have the monarchy. And that's an Annoyed Altasaur into a boarding party into an explorer. And they lose focus. Well, that's strange. I don't know why they didn't kick the lose focus, but they chose not to. And I swing in. And they go down to 3. Maybe a misclick on the opponent's part. They swing in. I go down to 12. And they pump their Augur of Bolus. And they go Augur of Bolus. Lorien revealed is revealed. Yeah, that's the thing about UX tempo. Like, it's everywhere now. And I just remembered, actually, there was one match, that wasn't UR tempo. I was wrong. But yeah, I'm usually seeing like 3 to 4 UR tempo matchups a league. It's crazy. I mean, it's nice because I get to play this deck, but that's good. So that's nice at least. And then I go Avenging Hunter, and I get a Muldrifter. Or I get a boarding party with Hex. Oh, I choose a boarding party rather than Muldrifter here, because I just want to keep the pressure on. And I have 2 Growth Spiral in hand, so I already can draw 2 cards. Alright, and also it helps keep the board clear, because they have to block everything. They go Augur Bolas into Scred. And they Scred, and they play a Crimson Fleet Commodore. So they're trying to trade creatures off here so they can stay alive. This snap should come in handy, though. Okay, I search my library for a mountain, and I go Growth Spiral. And I go Growth Spiral. And I go Growth Spiral, Snap. And they respond with Counterspell, which allows me to play an Avenging Hunter, going down into Forge. I'm going to forge my Avenging Hunter. You know, I decided to forge my Broil Grazer, that's right. I figured they're at 3, 2 5s is alright. And I swing in. They go Scred to my big one. And concede. Alright, and that was game 1 of the match. See you for game 2.
And we're back for game 2. Let's see how I boarded. I took out 2 Snap and a Weather the Storm for 3 Pyro. I didn't bring in my Tamiyo safekeepings. Alright. And this is a risky hand, but I decided to keep it. This kind of hand is kind of a trap, can be a trap. If I don't draw like a crew land off this Explorer, I'm in trouble. Or hit running lands off the top. So this is a bit of a gambit on my part. And if they leave Spell Pierce mana open, I could be in even more trouble. So that was fortunate. Let's see if I can hit another land. They choose to Spell Pierce it, so that's actually okay, because at least I got a spell out of them, and I may not have hit a land there. Let's see, they go Augur Bolas, and they grab Counterspell. And I see a Growth Spiral. I just evoke the Muldrifter, because I just need to hit lands. I don't want to Brainstorm lock myself. And they go Crimson Fleet Commodore. And I Brainstorm, hitting 2 lands. That's great. Both red too, so that means I can cast this boarding parties too. I do it this way so that I can have more relevant colors and get to play that growth spiral twice. Because I believe I had to. No, I had 3 sources of green. I guess I didn't have to do it that way. And they get in for 5. I just take it. Take this opportunity to go boarding party into an explorer. That snap could be helpful. They go brainstorm. And they scred my boarding party. They go island cycling. There's a terror, and they get him for 5. I play a crew land and I snap to untap it. They counter that. I counter back. And I untap. I can now go another boarding party into a growth spiral, playing an island. And I don't think I can afford to attack anymore. Well, I disagree. I choose to attack anyway. And they go mountain into Murmuring Mystic. Now that card is a big issue. I've lost to that card before. And they continue to draw off. I go Brainstorm. That was pretty nice. So I'm going to get rid of this forest by putting it on top of the Meldrifter. And I'm going to attack first because there's nothing really I can draw that would change combat all that much. Besides perhaps another snap, I suppose. And I go Annoyed Altasaur into Meldrifter. And they lose focus me, and for some reason I brainstorm in response there. So yeah, I'm a little rusty with the deck, but yeah, so I lost game 2. I do think that it was winnable though. Anyway, on to game 3.
Okay, and we're here for game 3. Did I change my sideboard? I did. I brought in 2 Tamiyo Safekeeping, and I took out all my snaps. Let's see how that worked for me. So I couldn't keep that hand because it didn't have a turn 2 1 or 2 accelerant. This hand does. And sometimes you can keep those slower hands, but particularly when you're on the play. But it wasn't very good. So I play a force into an Arboreal Grazer and a Karoo land. That's probably my best start, and this Explorer is also going to be very helpful. I play a forest into Explore into Gruul Turf. So I can go turn to Avenging Hunter. If they don't have counterspell mana, then they don't because they play a Volatile Fjord. This allows me to go Avenging Hunter and crucially allows me to grab a mountain. So now I can leave that Pyroblast up. They go Luring Revealed into Ponder. Yeah, I felt kind of bad about last match. I kind of threw that one away. Not really threw it away, like I was in a rough spot, but casting Brainstorm when I had 2 mana open. Yeah, I don't know why I did that. And Trap. They go Brainstorm into Scred, into Bolt, and yeah, they're still in trouble here. I get to go Archive, Explore, into Simic Growth Chamber, and play the Forest because I've explored a lot. I get in for 5, they go Scred, and I counter their terror. They counter the counter, I counter their counter spell, and I go Throne of the Dead 3, and I just get a boarding party. Alright, and that was game 3 of the match. Alright, that was the first match. See you for match 2. Okay, and we're back for match 2 of the league. I kept this hand. Again, it's risky. I'm keeping the 2 mana accelerant and hoping that I draw land in the top 2 cards of my library. I do run 23. Alright. Let's see how we did. I play the forest. They go mountain into star. I crack, get an island, and untap. That brainstorm will be helpful. I miss, but I'm hoping I can still get out of that. I go brainstorm. I find 2 land. That's crucial because I could have lost right there. Had I not had like a crew land or like 2 basics like that, I wouldn't be able to make up for the miss previously on the growth spiral. But it looks like we're against a burn type deck and I have a weather the storm, so that could be good. They go improvise club. I take 4. They go synth. Oh yes, and this was the one non-UX tempo deck I played. I go brainstorm. This allows me to set up my brainstorm for next turn. I snap because the snap is not an accelerant, just to, get them off the board. And I go evoke to draw through what I put on top because I didn't really like any of them. Because I need a 5th land to really start doing anything. So just trying to stall the board until game out until I can recover. My keep didn't really pan out. It didn't make me lose the game, but there we go. There's a crew land, so now I can start ramping out a bit more now. I explore. Oh, that was a huge draw. So this Simic Growth Chamber allows me to really catch up with all my land drops. That's one thing you can do. You can hope to, if you draw like enough of your ramp effects, you can kind of recover from an early game by ramping out quickly in the later game. So I'm going to snap back their Samurai token, and I'm going to go boarding party into an Avenging Hunter. That was pretty nice, and they concede. All right, on to game 2. We are at match 2, game 2. And I brought in all of my weathers, taking out 1 Muldrifter and 4 snaps. So it also means I brought in my 3 copies of Breath Weapon. Alright. And let's see how I did. I'm taking the same risk I took last time. So let's see how this pans out for me. Play an island. This is going to grab a mountain. So notably, I did make another mistake here. I'm a little rusty with the decks. First time I played it in a while. I should have played this forest first. That would have allowed me to cycle for a mountain and then gone explore. Oh wait, never mind, it doesn't make a difference. I could have done it. There was something I thought I made a mistake here with. Maybe there was, I just don't remember. But, oh yes, right, and I could have had an island left up to brainstorm. But that doesn't really matter. So, oh, I guess it does, because what if I miss my land drop next turn? Okay, and I play a forest. They go all that glitters, and I respond with Breath Weapon. And that's the end of the second match. Alright, see you for match 3. Okay, and we're back for match 3 of the league. I have to mulligan, and I had to mulligan that other hand because I had no lands to, like, normal lands to play. I only had crew lands, which means you can't play any lands. I considered keeping it because even 1 land would have made, especially a forest, would have made that a very, very good hand. But I decided to mulligan instead because I've already been taking a lot of risk. It's probably going to get locked out again. But I went down to 5, so who knows if it was better to keep the extremely risky 7 or mull to 5. Because this it does something and it can excel pretty well. So let's see if we got there. It is another UX match. I play my Ash Barons. They go nothing. I do see the forest here, but I'm unsure if this is you are Fey, and I do not want to play into a spell sort of sprite. So instead I just pass the turn, and they pass the turn. I pass the turn again, this time leaving open some mana for Spell Pierce. I'm just content for them to take their time so I can try and recover from this mull a little bit. Still not playing the Grazer. So that tells me that this likely isn't mono, this isn't Fey. Let's see if I picked up on it in the game. So I may have been focused on something else at the time. It was the first time I played this deck as the 3rd match I've played with this deck in a couple months now, or whenever Winds of Eldraine first came out. They play Tolarian Terror. That's what I do. I attempt to... Oh, I just go boarding party into a snap. I pay the 2. And they spell pierce. And they counterspell my boarding party. Alright, I'm still feeling a little okay here because I still have some snaps. They draw 3, and they go terror. So I might snap back both those terrors. I'm not sure if that's a good idea. Probably not, actually. I'll just snap back the one. And now I will go snap back the other one. Okay. Untap, untap. Boarding party into Mulldrifter. That was pretty good. And I should play both of these grazers, but I'll wait until after that. They bolt my boarding party, and I go grazer and grazer, and they pass a turn. They go Thought Scour. They go Fiery Cannonade. Fiery Cannonade. By the way, Thought Scour can really get me, so I need to be careful about that, about setting up my cascades. I go Avenging Hunter, or boarding party into Avenging Hunter, and I Secret Entrance. And I'm feeling pretty good right here, because I've kind of have the board really locked up, so let's see how we go. And I go in for 6, and they go down to 14. And they scred my Hunter. They're down to 1 card in hand. I decide to double block here. They only have 2 cards in hand, so I'm still feeling okay, but that was a Cannon Fleet Commodore, which means that I might be in a bit of trouble here. So we move on to Forge. I probably should have forged the Granger here, but I decided to forge the boarding party, which... Oh, I did forge the Granger. It's Brainstorm, and I put the Mulldrifter on top. I guess they don't have... Here's the point where they would have a Thought Scour if they had it. And I draw 2. So one thing I could have done to avoid that would have been to cycle the Ash Barrens earlier, had 1 island up, and have a Brainstorm in response. They have another Scred, and they block my Arboreal Grazer. That's another terror, and here I'm wondering if I take 10 or not. That's interesting. I probably should have blocked the Annoyed Altasaur instead. That would have been a better play than attempt to, yeah, I don't know why I did that. Probably playing around Bolt, I guess, or attempting to play around a Bolt. I Brainstorm, they go Counterspell. I go Mulldrifter. I play that. And again, I should have attacked first with the Annoyed Altasaur to see if they try and double initiative. Just very rusty with the deck. Sorry about that. And I pass the turn back. Oh, because I don't want to attack him because I'm at 7. I'm very concerned about a Lightning Bolt. That's what's happening here. Maybe too concerned about Bolt. And they draw another card. I go Snap. I pay the ward. And I go Mulldrifter. Now I go Avenging Hunter into the Throne. And here's where I kind of, where things go real bad for me. I completely whiffed on that. That's unfortunate, but it can happen. You only run 20 creatures. I go Growth Spiral and pass the turn. So playing that Mulldrifter first kind of cost me. I mean, you couldn't have known that I only had like 1 creature in the top 12 cards of my library, and and it was in the top 2. I mean, it's kind of unlucky there. And I go Boreal Grazer, playing Simic Growth Chamber, returning the Ash Barrens, and I go Avenging Hunter again, put the +1 counter onto my Avenging Hunter, and I swing in with Mulldrifter. Yeah, for some reason I just have a read on him having a Lightning Bolt, which he does. Oh, he has a Cast and Fire. Interesting. Anyway, they go Scred, and oh, that's probably game. That was pretty rough. So, because now I have no way of taking the initiative back either. I do think this match was winnable, and I played a little tighter. But, you know, I'm not going to play at my best after, you know, a significant break from a deck. But so I need to practice a bit more to get in the groove. I think I get better as the league goes on. All right, on to match 4. Back for game 2 of the 3rd match. Let's see how I sideboarded. I took out all of my snaps for 2 Samio safekeeping and 2 pyro, and I took out a weather for a 3rd pyro. Okay, let's see how I did. Pretty good hand. I like that very much. It's a really good start for me. I go, is it Boilerworks, returning the forest? And they go, Ponder. I go Forest into Explore into Brainstorm, searching for land. So I'm a little Brainstorm locked here, but I should be able to draw through it. They get a Lorien revealed. And I just evoke a Muldrifter, trying to find another land. They go Ash Barrens into 2 mana open. I attempt to evoke another Muldrifter. I'm trying not to use these Brainstorms because I'm really concerned about getting Brainstorm locked. And they go Murmuring Mystic. That's a pretty big problem. I kind of really want to draw a Pyro now. Ooh, that's rough. Still no lands there. But I do get to shuffle those. Oh, I had 5 mana. Did I have 5 mana? Oh, that's right. I didn't want to play the Avenging Hunter because of this. They would just take the initiative. Like bolt it, take the initiative. It was just way too risky of a line. So I go Annoyed Altasaur into Tameo Safekeeping, which really hurts. That's one of the reasons why I hesitate to bring it in, except against land destruction. It's terrible to cascade into. Like, Pyro still would have been very good there. And I block. But I think our opponent's just going to run away with this one here. And I go Boarding Party into Muldrifter. They go Counterspell, making another Bird Illusion. And I go... yeah. I do think this match may have been winnable, but ultimately I just wasn't... I wasn't playing well enough. And again, these misplays may seem, or not really misplays, we'll say, but these bad lines may seem obvious in the post view, but while you're playing it, it's not the same. When I watch it back, I can clearly see, but that's with the benefit of hindsight, you know? Like, who knows the things I could have been playing around. But ultimately, the lines I chose weren't the best. Anyway, that was match 3, so I'm 2-1. On to match 4. Game 2, let's take a look here. So it looks like I decided not to bring in my Tameo safekeepings because of just how bad of a cascade into it is. So I just took out 1 Weather the Storm. Although you saw Weather the Storm can be good, I'd rather just have Snap and over 2 Snap over 1 copy of Weather at post board. I decided not to bring in my Breath Weapons, thinking this matchup was more about their larger threats than their smaller ones. So I had to make a choice. And Snap can excel me as well. Alright, let's see how I did. Can't keep that hand. I can't keep that hand. I can't, well actually I guess I had to go to 5. So they go Preordain. And I go Mountain. So here I'm hoping to top deck a Forest. They go Contaminated Aquifer. Almost. If that was a Forest, that would have worked out. But, no, like if that 1-of Mountain was a Forest, but you need to have the 1-of Mountain in the deck. Just to be able to, like, search it out. I mean, you don't need to, but it's a good idea to have the 1. But maybe I can do something crazy here. So I go to Explore, I draw the Forest, which allows me to kind of make up for that miss the previous turn. But right now, I'm flooding out just a little bit, but that helps. Crystal Grotto, I'm going to leave on top the Boarding Party. That was a close one. Now, I take this opportunity to go Growth Spiral because I remember that they run Thought Scour, and, well, for some reason I think they run Thought Scour. I'm pretty sure they do, and I was a little concerned because I hadn't seen the Thought Scour yet. Still could have cast it, but I was hoping the opponent hadn't figured it out. I bottom the Arboreal Grazer, and I cascade into an Avenging Hunter. Our opponent goes Hydroblast, I allow that to happen. And I search my library for a Forest, leaving Snap up. Opponent gets in for 1. They take the initiative. It's a shame. If I had 1 more mana, I would have tried to do something there, but the odds of that not working out were pretty brutal. I also decided not to snap there, because I think it's too likely they have a counterspell or a spell pierce. I probably should have, yeah, see, this is why I didn't do it, because there was no way I could have fought back, but at least this way I can fight back a little bit. But they had just had it all, and I explore, but it's looking like it's going to be pretty rough to come back here. I need to hit another brainstorm that doesn't get countered, and so I could set up for another for a big cascade. They go in for 9, so I'm dead next turn if I can't do anything. I go Annoyed Altasaur into Growth Spiral. Into, is it Boilerworks? And I pass a turn. And I just concede the game there because I'm pretty sure I was out of it at that point. Okay, on to game 3.
But that's alright. So what I'm hoping here is to hit and explore into a crew land. Well, that's actually pretty good too, just a crew land. And again, looks like another UX tempo match. I like those islands though. And I play a forest. Let's see what they do. Reminds me of when I first got into Magic. And I play another forest. I'm just going to wait out. Looks like we're against UB. And I go Growth Spiral. That's a good draw. Into another Boilerworks. So it looks like things are going pretty well so far, developing nicely. Looks like some type of Fey deck, because that is a spell sort of sprite. Although they could, and I just go Boarding Party into Muldrifter. So which one will they counter? They counter the Muldrifter, which likely means they have a removal spell for the Boarding Party. They sure do with the Snuff Out. And there goes Suffocating Fumes into a chip attack with the spell sort of sprite. I go Muldrifter for 2. And by the way, I shouldn't have tapped that way. I should have tapped in a way that left Snap open, but it didn't matter because they countered my Muldrifter. And they get in for 1. I go Muldrifter, draw 2. Into is a Boilerwork. So here I have the Cascade effect to go with this Brainstorm. I attempt to snap back my Muldrifter, and their last card is in fact a Spell Pierce. Alright. And they get in for... Ooh, and they have the spell sort of sprite open, but they tap out of it with Augur Bolus, getting a little overconfident. So let's see if I can turn the corner here. I go Brainstorm, and I get the full Monty. Alright, so that's pretty good. That's one way for me to get out of this position. And I can even play their Boyo Grazer afterwards. That's nice. So, Dinosaur into Boarding Party into Dragon. And I get the initiative. Grab that. And Altasaur into a Boyo Grazer. I don't know if I attack with the Boarding Party here. You probably should, I guess. Like, I think it's just better to either trade or deal 6. I don't mind if they get a land. I can probably take it back if they swing all out. And they scry 2, and they get in for 5. I decide just to double block here in case they have, some type of trick. Untap, I forge onto my Hunter. It's just a 2/5 is not going to do that much against this board. I still would have gained more value from it, but I would have rather, gone for the big play than, potentially lose by choosing too little of a play. And I take this opportunity to gain 9 life. So right now he has at 0 cards in hand, I'm at 2 cards in hand. It looks like what I generally try to do is I just try and outgrind the the UX player. Maybe not the best strategy. There's probably a better one there because I'm at the mercy of my top. But I draw an Annoyed Altasaur into a Snap, which I decline to play because I don't want him to get either of those creatures back. Your opponent takes the initiative and goes Lost Well. They go Augur Borlas with Revealing Lorien Revealed. I get in for 6, remembering to attempt initiative twice this time. And they go Shrink Your Dude. I decide to kill the 2 1/1s. I did consider a shrink effect, which is why I left it the way they did. I'd rather have 2 creatures in 1. And I take him down to 1 with the trap. They go Lorien Revealed and concede. Alright, on to game 2.
3, let's take a look at how I boarded. I just did the same thing I usually do. 1 weather, 2 snaps, or 3 pyro. Okay, let's see how we did. That is a keepable hand. It's a little slower, but I'm thinking I'm just going to try and grind them out of the game. And because they have a lot of 1-for-1 effects in their deck. I go Growth Chamber, returning Crystal Grotto. Also, any untapped land would have allowed me to accelerate there. And I keep the Brainstorm on top. Not the Brainstorm, the Explorer on top, because that's pretty good. They go Lorien Revealed. I scry 1, I leave that on top as well. So this opponent has kind of been showing me that they don't have Thought Scour, because they keep not Thought Scouring me, but I believe I still play around it here and just attempt to grind them out rather than try and set up a Brainstorm. Also, I'm concerned about Spell Stutter Sprite, so I'm just trying to, play bigger spells, get them out of their counter magic, and then hopefully set it up later. Explore, to that, into bottom, into another, and I pass the turn. Just trying to set something up here, and it worked. They actually snuffed out one of my Arboreal Grazers, so that was pretty huge for me. And I go Gruul Turf, returning Crystal Grotto, Brainstorm, and I like to do a value play here, and just do something that might just outvalue them. And they counterspell my Altasaur. My Brainstorm resolves though, and I again just decide to do a Brainstorm shuffle essentially, rather than try and set up the Brainstorm. They go Brainstorm, and they go Gurmag Angler, so they have a clock now. I go Boarding Party into Muldrifter, drawing 2 cards. And I go Avenging Hunter, and I start the initiative. Going Secret Entrance and grabbing an island. And here I decline to attack. They go Cast Down on my Muldrifter into Murmuring Mystic, and another Cast Down on my Arboreal Grazer, which I actually like to see, because that means my bigger creatures are still staying around. Alright, so now I can go Brainstorm, and they go Dispel. That's unfortunate. So I just go Avenging Hunter. 2+1 counters on that to grow Spiral. I was 1 off of casting the Noid Altasaur there. That Dispel was pretty brutal, but it does let me get this Murmuring Mystic off the field. And it's their turn. They can now go down. Oh, that's right, I retook the initiative with Avenging Hunter. And they go Cast Down my Avenging Hunter, and they swing in. I decide just to chump here and let them get in for 6. And they can forge their Gurmag Angler. And they play another Gurmag Angler. And a Blue Blast on my Boarding Party. I go Annoyed Altasaur into Pyro on their Spell Stutter Sprite. I then go Boarding Party. And I hit a Snap, which is huge. Huge. Because that lets me get in and take them down to 1 with Trap. And the opponent goes Gurmag Angler. I draw a card, and I go Avenging Hunter, and I go down the initiative, probably taking the Boarding Party again, just to put on as much pressure as possible. Or would I? Because that's a 7/7. I'd lose 1 too. Maybe I'd just get the Muldrifter. I'm not certain there, actually. Or maybe the Avenging Hunter. I'd have to think about that. Alright, and that was match 4. On to match 5. Alright, and we're back for match 5 of the league. We are currently 3-1, so this is for the 4-1. Alright. Let's take a look Yeah, that has a turn 2 growth spiral into a Gruul Turf, so I'm keeping that. And again, it's another U deck. This deck has a pretty decent matchup against UX tempo decks, so this is when we're running for now. Its burn matchup isn't that great, though. And they go Augur Bolus into Frantic Inventory. I play an island, and I go Growth Spiral into Izzet Boilerworks, and I'm probably going to cycle one of these Ash Barrens, because I'm kind of flooding a little bit. I typically like to keep them in hand for Brainstorms, but I already have one, plus Cascade Effect, and these 2 Avenging Hunters. So here I just go Boarding Party into an Arboreal Grazer. I don't want to lead on an Avenging Hunter and potentially lose the initiative. They go Lorien Revealed, and they reveal a Volatile Fjord. And they go Frantic Inventory, and I swing in for 6. They go Preordain into Volatile Fjord. I find a Weather the Storm, and I swing in for 6. Weather the Storm actually might be okay here. These matchups kind of turn into a race. I go Avenging Hunter, and they Counterspell, and I pass a turn. They go Preordain into Frantic Inventory, drawing 2, and scred my dude and play a Tolarian Tear. I take this opportunity to weather to gain 15 life. I go Brainstorm. Ooh, that's not very good, but I can at least shuffle those away with this Avenging Hunter, grabbing myself a mountain, going Growth Spiral and playing that mountain. And there's my Annoyed Altasaur. They go Murmuring Mystic, which is a bit of a problem, because that card can quickly take over a game. I just chump block here. I go Forge onto my Avenging Hunter, and I go Crystal Grotto. I scry 1, and there's a Growth Spiral on top, so I put that on the bottom. I then go Annoyed Altasaur into Explore, and they Spell Pierce. I was pretty lucky they didn't have a removal spell, but I really wanted to. I felt like I needed to get that Avenging Hunter up to a 7/6, and I swing in for 7. They swing in for 2. I eat 1 with my Altasaur. And they go tap, tap, tap. Little tap dance into a Crimson Fleet Commodore. Alright. That allows me to Brainstorm. And they go Spell Pierce. I pay the 2. Because I can still cast this Annoyed Altasaur. Put Snap on top as a card and the Ash Baron, so I can get rid of that. And I'll snap back my Gruul Turf. And I swing in with 2 Tramplers. And they trade off with both of them, but likely I get that Mystic off the table, and that puts them down to 5, and that's enough for the trap. So that was game 1. Alright, on to game 2. We're up a game, and it looks like I did the similar board that I was usually doing for these UX tempos, just 1 Weather, 2 Snap for 3 Pyro. Alright, let's see how we did. I got a mulligan that. This is keepable. That gives me 2 ramp spells in the early game, which I like to see. They go Fjord into nothing. I go Cycle Ash Barrens for an island. I'm going to play the island and pass a turn. They go Frantic Inventory, so I go Growth Spiral. And I play an Izzet Growth Chamber. They play a Fjord. I play an island, and I go Explore, playing around Spell Pierce. And I play an Izzet Boilerworks, so I want to have a fair bit of blue open. Or have the opportunity to have a lot of blue open. I just jam a Muldrifter, see if it eats a counter spell, and it does. It's one of the reasons why I like running 4 Muldrifter. It kind of makes that line more viable. And here I'm just going to go Boarding Party. Again, I don't want to Avenging Hunter into like an unknown place, and it allows me to go Island, which lets me leave Snap up as a protection for this Boarding Party. I don't expect this Snap really to work, but it will draw something else out, and it draws out a Scred. They go Lorien Revealed, and they play a Terror into 2 Terrors. I go of Muldrifter, because I cannot protect the monarchy right now, and also because I have 10 mana, so it lets me go Avenging Hunter twice, which will allow me to attempt to make a 6 toughness creature for their Tolarian Terror. And they go Skred. They swing in, and I double block, hoping to draw something. They go Crimson Fleet Commodore. Maybe it was wise to just go down to 5 there. I was in a pretty rough shape either way. Let's see what I draw, and I concede. But I do have a pretty hand. I should have moved that Arboreal Grazer over. Alright, wait, can I still do that? Ah, there we go. Alright, on to game 3 of the final match. I ordered, as I always do, 2 snaps and weather for 3 pyro. Alright, let's see how we did. Can't keep that hand. This hand has a turn 2 ramp, so I will keep it into a crew land. I go Forest, and they go Voltal Fjord. I cycle for an island, and I play Growspire while they're tapped out, playing a Gruul Turf, returning that Forest. They go Augur Bolas, so I'm going to Growspire again and hope there's a land on top. I could have Brainstorm first, but I don't want to get Brainstorm locked. And they swing in for 1. And they go Augur Bolas, revealing Spell Pierce. I draw a Simic Growth Chamber, so I return that, go Brainstorm, and yes, I hit the Arboreal Grazer. The reason why I did that, by the way, was to return a basic, just in case I found an Ash Baron, so I could shuffle that basic away or something like that. So I could, if I wanted to, I could shuffle away. I didn't want to, though. And they get in for 1. I go Boarding Party into Muldrifter. They Frantic Inventory, and they Brainstorm, and it looks like they didn't keep any counter in their opener. So there's Muldrifter, I draw 2, and Boarding Party. They bolt my Boarding Party, and pass. They go Murmuring Mystic into Preordain. So I'm looking to pyro that Murmuring Mystic because of how it will just take over the game very quickly. So I go Ash Barons. I was considering snapping it as kind of like a way of time walking, but I really need that thing to not be around. So I go Muldrifter and I swing in for 2. Although in hindsight, I'm pretty sure I should have just snapped it and gone Boarding Party. But maybe not. Maybe I chose a safer line because I'm just looking to kind of outgrind them here, and Murmuring Mystic would make that very difficult. So I go Brainstorm, putting Muldrifter in a land on top. Then I go Boarding Party, getting rid of the land and playing the Muldrifter. They go Counterspell on my Muldrifter, and I swing in for 10. And they trade off their 2 Augurs, and I get in for 4. They go Frantic Inventory, drawing 3, and they swing in for 5. I go down to 13. I go Brainstorm, they Spell Pierce, I'll pay for it. And I'll put my Dino on top. I don't want to play it this turn, I'd rather Cascade into it, and I play an Arboreal Grazer, which I might do just by reusing this Brainstorm and casting this Growspireless or something. I haven't decided yet. Or let's say I don't think I had decided yet by that point in the game. They go Terror. And they go... I decide to snap the Terror and I'll pay 2. And I go Growth Spiral, drawing another Growth Spiral. So it looks like I also want to re-Brainstorm as well. And I will go Boarding Party into Avenging Hunter. They go Counterspell. So one of the reasons why I used the Cascade to get rid of the land rather than the initiative trigger was because I wasn't sure if the initiative trigger would resolve. They chump my boarding party and they take 4. They're down to 6. I scry 1 and I put that land on the bottom. I explore and I play my Is It Boilerworks and I return the Crystal Grotto. That Annoyed Altasaur is going to be pretty nice next turn, I hope. They go Tolarian Terror. They swing in for 5. I choose to chump this turn. They go Murmuring Mystic with 2 cards in hand. I go Crystal Grotto and I put the Grazer on the bottom. I swing in first before casting anything because I don't want to, give them another bird from their counterspell. And they chump my boarding party. I go Annoyed Altasaur to an Explore. They counter my Annoyed Altasaur, making another bird, so it's a good thing I played that post second main. I draw a card and I go Growth Spiral and Arboreal Grazer into Crystal Grotto, and now I can play that Crystal Grotto, checking the top, and it's another Dino, so I'm going to keep that there. I will chop here because I don't want to go to Bolt and get into Bolt range. I cast my Annoyed Altasaur first this time because I don't think they have any counter magic. I've already seen 3 counter spells. And I go Cascade into Avenging Hunter. I take the initiative. And I get myself a land. And I swing with my 6/3. I'm going to leave these back because I want to get to the forage part. I decided to trade off here because, again, I'm very low on life. They play a Terror. They have 1 card in hand. They're at 4, so I'm going to go for it. And I make my Muldrifter a 4/4. And I swing in for 10. And they concede. All right, that was the league. We went 4-1. Okay, yeah, like I said, it's been a lot of UX tempo in the leagues while I've been there, so I decided to switch to a deck that has, a pretty decent matchup against that type of strategy. All right, have a good one.